There's one moment when I knew all of this, like everything I had spent all this time building in 4 years was real. Let me explain. Let me tell you all about it. So, I'm telling you about this moment instead of telling you, oh, I'm really great at this particular thing, and um, like being so outwardly like obvious about it. Because when I sat down to plan today, my first reaction wasn't like excited about like sharing this moment when I felt like everything I had done for this particular offer of um the Sacred Creative Studio like was great. I literally was like, why does this matter? Like, why do I have to talk about this? And I initially had imagined that all of this had to do with this idea that I'm just tired. It's day 10. It's like day 10. I've been going live every single day. I'm like, oh, why do I have to talk about this? It just felt like something else I had to do. Um, and I want to talk about that move because one, I talked it a little over with AI. I sat with it a little while. And the truth is, like, what I did in response to the prompt for what you're going to hear today, like the moment something shifted when I heard from a client that like this thing that I believe to be true for me is actually true for the people I work with. Um, that like that moment is how do I say it? Like really matters. And the fact that I don't want to go there at all also I think reveals something greater about all of us who are trying to do like amazing work in the world and put it out into the world and trying to do something we haven't done before, right? And the reason this moment sort of stuck with me is because it wasn't about me performing. I had, or like me using a certain tool that I've been trained in. It was just about the power of what I know to be true in every fiber of my being. If you build a room and people show up, that intention alone creates magic for them to do the work that they're meant to do in the world, right? And this is what I know is also happening to you, right? Like you keep receiving these signals from the universe, from the divine, from other humans, that something you did or some part of you is amazing and great, and people are complimenting you on it. They're sharing it with someone else, and you're like surprised, right? I had this moment where I had a friend like introduce me to a group of people, and the titles that she used and the things that she said about me, I was like, oh, wow, I guess I do. Like, that is who I am in the world. Just don't really think. Um, and it showed. I'm like, oh, this is like her way of like showing me love in some way. And also trusting that these new things I'm doing, along with the things that I've done my entire life, which is right, are like amazing, right? And she wants other people to know about them, right? So that was just one signal. And so I'm telling you, you have those signals too. Like they just drop in, right? But what you do is you like throw them to the side. You're like, oh, they're just being nice, right? Like this mic right here. I have had so many colleagues in the workforce, in my business networks, like all of them are like, wow, your sound is great. Or wow, you have an official mic. And a lot of them will be like, you got to start a podcast. And for a very long time, I had imagined that they want me to start a podcast because I have the tech. Literally, I was like, I mean, they see the mic and it looks like other podcast people and it sounds as nice as other audio they see online. So they're like, you should do that, right? And so what was I doing in that moment? I was like throwing to the wayside like an actual compliment, not just about the way my voice sounds, right? But like who I am, right? Which is a person who likes to create content and who has something important to say and that's really interesting that people will want to hear, right? Like I threw it all to the wayside, right? Saying like, that's not proof. And this is what people don't tell us, right? That like those signals that we keep throwing away, they're not just like really nice compliments or just like, oh my God, another sign from the universe, you know? To me, they're like tangible evidence that the divine has handed you to tell you you are ready to do what you came here to do as a soul, right? They're like literally the evidence for the permission slip that you keep not giving yourself, right? That you're like waiting magically it will arrive. Time, feeling, alignment, all that stuff. If you've been with me since day one, you know, right? And really, you're not stuck and you haven't yet started this project that's like really on your heart to do. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. It's because you won't let yourself like walk down the path with the exact information you have in order to do it, because you have everything you need to do it. I trust it. I believe it. When I said that, I was like, yeah, of course they do. Unless I believe that. And so that's what I did today before I decided to hit play here. I got this whole prompt from my mentor and I was like, oh God, why do I have to do this? Like, why do I have to spend time having this conversation with people on the internet about how other people trust me and they do things that are amazing because they decided to work with me, right? Like, that's just me. Like, as a very like sort of humble person, like, do I really need to like do this? And the truth is I need to do it because I want to have a business. I would like to gain the trust of people online so they could also feel the power of what it means to trust themselves to do something they love. All that good shit. Right? But I give you one big moment this happened for me because I gave you a couple others, but specifically in the context of the Sacred Creative Studio, we had our first set of Get It Done hours, which is like a combination of like connection, having conversation, and co-working for like 20 minutes at a time on something. We'd all arrived. I told them, I said, we have an hour and a half on the docket. I'll be honest, I'm exhausted. I don't know if I'll go a whole hour and a half. I will be here an hour. I said, let's see what we do. Mainly because it was late at night. And the day was long. And all of them looked pretty tired too. So I was like, let's see how we go. Right? Just a couple members were there. And we went. And funny enough, by the end, I was like, oh, I'm willing to stay another 20 minutes until the hour and a half is up. I said, I'm in the middle of this thing. I want to wrap up. Anybody want to stay? And somebody's like, actually, yeah. And the other person was like, oh, I thought I was done. My hands kind of hurt because I'm like sitting in this uncomfortable physical space. And then she says, okay, fine. I'll see how long I can go. Meanwhile, we had already done like, I think 2 20-minute co-working like sprints, right? And that was after we had connected and had a conversation about what we were doing, why we were doing it, what way we were doing it. So we complete it, right? And at the end, we're like just having a conversation. And the woman who was there and who like was insistent on coming to these Get It Done hours, she had realized she wasn't in the most optimal space, but she decided to just stick around whatever space she was in so that she could show up and do something. And unfortunately, that means that she wasn't in a very comfortable space for her like physical like hands to the computer. Like it was actually quite like it was hurting her, it was cramping her hands, right? And at the end, when she shared what she had done, it was so beautiful. One, she gave me the most amazing compliment. She said she was grateful for me. She's like, I'm so grateful to you. And I think she actually said that after the second co-working block because she could like feel the magic of what she had signed up to do that she'd been trying to get to for months. And she sat there with us and she just did it and she wrote it. And she even said at the end, there's a part of that she knows isn't part of the book she's working on, but like she got stuff on the page. She was like, you could see she was lit up, right? And by lit up, like I think I had met with her the week prior. And there was just a level of magic to whatever she was putting on the page that was just like you could see that that's what she had been waiting for. That's all she wanted to say. It was like, I got some words on the page and I got started and I could hear myself and what I have to say about this topic for this book project, right? And when she said, I'm so grateful to you. And then after the third set, like the third 20-minute sprint, she's like, wow. She's like, that was amazing. I'm so glad we did this. I'm glad this is part of this, right? And I was just like, oh, wow. And I won't lie, like I'm a very emotional person. And so I was nearly in tears because what I knew to be true was happening in real time with someone who was like a stranger to me just a month before, right? Like this isn't somebody in my life that knows this is what I've done, that I write and that I help people with creative projects, all this. Like that wasn't her. That was, she just literally had met me beginning of June. We were here in the middle of July doing some get it done hours. And it, like, I literally saw, I was like, oh, this thing that feels like a theory as I apply it to people outside of me, right? But something that I know to be true based on my own experience is that when people arrive in space with me, they literally don't know what they're going to write and they don't know what they're going to do. But because they're there, they do something. And I think this is the magic that I've always known, even like from my beginning years of teaching college aged adult students in the classroom. And I always say, like, working at a community college, I don't just get college age. I get people who are like my grandmother's age sometimes who I'm teaching, all the way up to youngins, right? So I've been teaching quite a range of students with a range of like diverse experiences, identities, all this amazing shit, right? And what I always know, what I've known since I begun teaching, is that if you sit there and you just let the person begin, you give them like 5 to 15 minutes to start something, they'll put something down. Like something will happen. So those are two things that sort of came to me. It was like, wow, like she really got things done. But not only that, like it was very clear to her from the writing that she did. She wasn't confused. She's like, there's one part here that isn't for the book, but that doesn't matter. Everything else is fine. It's like exactly what I wanted to get into words. And so that kind of clarity was like, oh, that's what happens in space with me. Like you get shit on the page, you get things done that you set out to do that you didn't know how you were going to do them, but you did them. And you feel really good doing it. Like despite her hands cramping up, like you could see she was like absolutely lit up by it. And that's what I've seen time and time again. I have been an educator for 10 to 15 years. I've been working with clients for a couple of years. And that moment in the Sacred Creative Studio made me realize like, that's what because the Sacred Creative Studio began middle of June. The event started in July. We just wrapped up a month. At that moment, I was like, oh, this is what's missing from the Sacred Creative Studio. At that point, I only had like one set of get it done hours on the schedule every month. I was like, oh no. I spoke to my guides. I got that sense from her. I spoke to other people in the membership and I was like, oh, I got to add more get it done hours. Because one, if the point of this membership is that people are consistently working on their creative work, whatever that is for them, whether it's a business, a book, a podcast, a YouTube channel, I need to help them get in the rhythm of what that means for them. And that means they need to have something on their calendar they show up to every week so that then they can figure out, oh, how will I do this in my personal time? Right? Because at some point, the creative project is going to take more time than the get it done hours we'll dedicate to it. But for them to even get there, they need to feel that sense of momentum. And when I received that feedback from her, like I just added, I think, like co-working hours almost every week for the month of August. And so I was like, this is the feeling we have to return to, is knowing that when we're together, not only do things get done, like we feel good. Because I've had other sort of get it done hours with other people. And sometimes people don't work on the thing they set out to do in that space in that time, right? But it doesn't matter because they feel a sense of fullness because they looked at the time and they did something meaningful with it. And the thing they did, they're like, wow, I did that thing. It's complete. It feels good. Right. It also allows you, because I talk about this a lot via email. I don't talk about it so much on videos. Like get it done hours and co-working spaces aren't just to like sit down and get something done and get it complete. It's an exercise in your intuition, right? Because I will spend a lot of time preparing for get it done hours because I know that I do a lot of writing in my life and I do a lot of work that has to do with writing. But what I don't do is spend time writing my book. Or sometimes I don't spend time writing Substack. So I'm like, my get it done hours in the Sacred Creative Studio, when I show up as a writer and a creator, I'm like, oh no, that's what this time is for. I'm not doing nothing else. Right. So sometimes in advance, I will think about like, oh, what am I going to do on the book? Right. And often I know where I'm at. I often know where I'm going to head, or I'll intentionally like drop in, get a sense from my intuition, or I'll ask the project, or I'll channel for my guys to be like, what, like, where you want to go, yo? Like, right. So that when I show up to get it done hours, I'm not like sitting there like, what am I going to do? Right. Like I sort of have a sense. And even if I do show up because I've been so tired and so busy and I haven't really decided what part in the project I'm going to tackle, I arrive and get present and I like light a candle and do all the stuff just to get myself back to center and be like, oh, right, like, where is this project at? Where am I being pulled to go next with it? Right. And that's what co-working hours and get it done hours are for. It's for you to continue exercising this muscle of intuition for hearing yourself and hearing where the project wants to go. Because when you do that, the work is like, I would say, like effortless. It comes like you're going to do it. Right. And I think that's the beauty of that space. But also, like, the longer you spend with people who you do work with in a group container, in a co working space, in a get it done container, the more you have the ability for the guide to also be able to reflect back to you what are the things they're seeing from you. Like, there was a peer who also became a member of my previous membership who I noticed a trend. I was like, you always come in saying you're going to work on this thing and then you go work on this other thing. And I'm not calling your bluff or anything like that. What I'm showing you is that by you saying, "Oh, I went to go do this other thing," I'm like, that's you following your intuition. That's you building this muscle of continuing to honor what you actually want to spend your time doing because you finally have a moment where you don't have to, but you get to decide, right? And so that's the moment I knew, like, I had built something that even as it's relatively new, is going to change women's lives. Because in just a month, it had changed hers, and she'd only gone like 2 events. And the best part is, because this is why I love doing like soul work and connecting it to strategy, is like we do this like connection, we do this energy work together, mindset work together in service of the thing getting done, right? And so what got done? She wrote her first few pages. Before that, she had index cards of things, ideas, right? And so I wanted to share that with you because I think we often underestimate our magic when people share it with us almost immediately. Right. So for you, it's like, what would someone tell you they're grateful for in regards to having you in their life, either in the work that you do or the way you exist in the world, right? I think that's like a really beautiful practice you could consider too, is like, what if I had to ask someone, what are you grateful for me for? What would they say? What is it you make possible? What is it you help them consider? What is it you help them create? Right. And so today, this is just me modeling what I hope you will do too, which is let the evidence count, no matter how small it is. Let it be the thing that gives you the evidence you need to be like, oh, I should do the thing that like so many people have told me to do. Because I cannot tell you how many people told me to get on YouTube before I got on YouTube. Because I just was having it. Right? And that's like a personal choice, but it's also like then I began to learn and understand the platform. I was like, oh no, now I get why these people are leaning me towards these platforms where people can like listen to me guide them. And it's because like I'm a natural like guide, right? And it actually comes quite easy for me. Like I get nervous coming on here because I'm like, oh, let me make sure I get the hook right or whatever. But I'm like, once I go, I go. I don't really think much of it. And that just comes from years of like doing this work in person, right? Through my teaching experience, but also like my leadership experience from like age 18, 19. Like I'm used to being in front of a room, I'm used to figuring out how to make eye contact and allow a moment to see what it brings up in me to express, right? So tell me in the comments, when do you feel like you knew? Like, what is a piece of evidence that you gather right now that would help you be able to see, oh, damn, I should probably go work on that project that I know I want to work on, but I haven't made space for? Like the real one. Tell me what it is in the comments. Um, I'm reading every single one. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. I have no idea what time I will be back. Probably later in the day, I'll be honest. Going live on weekends is some shiznits. I'm being told not to do a reading at this time. But if you're interested in readings, you can check out my channel. There's a bunch of wonderful readings for people doing creative projects, for those of you who are light workers doing the important work of ushering this new collective into consciousness. There's some goodies there. And I will see you tomorrow.